So the oxidation of glucose. We are looking at the process that looks like this. We just went through it. Oh, God. Sorry, I keep writing the wrong thing. C6H12O6 plus oxygen plus gives carbon dioxide plus water, and then ATP. Okay, and if we balance this equation and make it look exactly as it's supposed to do in chemistry, there would be 6 oxygens, 6 carbon dioxides, and 6 waters here. And then we end up with about 32 to 36 ATP, but we'll talk about that later. Okay. All right. So the breakdown of glucose occurs along 3 pathways. The first path, and part of this is going to be anaerobic, and part of this is going to be aerobic. So the first pathway is called glycolysis. It is anaerobic, and that means, of course, that there's no oxygen here. So oxygen is not used in this pathway. Glycolysis occurs in the cytoplasm. So it is going to occur over here. All right, and we use glucose. We start with glucose, which is this right here. So glucose, and we're going to end up with a molecule called pyruvate. So we go from glucose to pyruvate here. Remember, this is happening in the cytosol, just in the cytoplasm of the cell. We're going to get a little bit of ATP, and we get that through a process called substrate level phosphorylation. So remember, we're making ATP from ADP. So in this process, we're just directly taking a phosphate group and sticking it on an ADP. So it's direct. So that is that substrate level phosphorylation. We do have electrons that are utilized in here, and we can get those from an NADH. The next pathway is called the Krebs cycle. The Krebs cycle occurs in the mitochondria. So this is the Krebs cycle, and we will utilize this molecule of pyruvate, and we will bring it in here and convert it to a molecule that can be fed into this thing called the Krebs cycle, and that will make some ATP. It will do that through substrate level phosphorylation. And we will also get from the Krebs cycle, we'll get some electron carriers. So we'll get some NADHs and FADH 2s that we can bring into the final pathway, which is called the electron transport chain. And this utilizes a process called oxidative phosphorylation. So the electron transport chain here. So through oxidative phosphorylation, then we're going to make a bunch of ATP. So the entire process, the full oxidation of glucose, occurs through these three pathways. So we're going to talk about each one individually.